The Forgotten Minotaur King. Side Quest, Episode 2. The Other Adventurers. Val Vorde came from a broken land. The indigo-hued people known as the Fioletov were a scarcely seen race as it was. This was long before their near extinction at the hand of the ever-industrious dwarf droids. Their capital village was rendered unlivable when hordes of the automatonic dwarf-like beings set upon the land and began converting the towns into an enormous factorial structure. Val attempted to halt the mindless and systematic deconstruction of the Fioletov homes, but even his extensive mastery of scroll-based magics wasn't enough. Eventually, fleeing was his only option, a daunting task in its own, given his advanced age. Wandering the world as a lone vagabond, Val Vorde eventually found himself in the city of Arkham, a city known for its large and often controversial school of dark magic. Denied admission to the pseudo-university, once again due to his age, he settled on buying as many scrolls as his panhandling earnings would allow, and began to offer his services as a bodyguard or mercenary. He eventually found himself in the employ of the young and foolhardy knight, Kuffs Agapucoh. Kuffs was a young, spry quarter orc with big aspirations of becoming the captain of the guard for the largest force in Arkham. While he knew it was typically a stationary job, he had grown up hearing fanciful stories of diverse adventurees, tossed together by circumstance, who eventually grew to be the closest of friends. While many of his fellow guards had resigned themselves to scraping off drunks from the tavern floors or occasionally putting out fires caused by some overzealous students in the magic school, Kuffs never gave up hope of making a name for himself. This dream began to come to fruition one day when on patrol in a more affluent district of the city. He heard reports of a strange purple-skinned foreigner offering his services as a bodyguard. When he confronted the man, Val Vorde's lack of an imposing figure confused Kuffs. When the man explained himself as a traveler without a home but with skills of the scroll, Kuffs found himself sympathetic and impressed. Offering to find the man employment and shelter, Kuffs escorted the man back to his guard precinct, where he was promptly told by his captain that helping the homeless was not in their jurisdiction. Dar was born in a lab, deep within the bowels of Arkham's School of the Dark Arts. A young elfling of unremarkable features and unremarkable strength. The robed students that had accidentally conjured him questioned him at length about who he was and where he was from. Unable to respond verbally beyond the word Dar, and without the motor functions to write or respond, they simply caged him, along with the other experimental beasts of the lab. Once there, however, Dar found himself able to communicate with the animals and monsters of the laboratory, resulting in him unintentionally riling them up and ensuing a mass escape of the creatures into the school. As the guards and master teachers of the school wrangled them back into their pens, Dar stumbled from the ruckus and into Kuffs. With frantic gestures, Dar did his best to convey his desire not to return to the school. Kuffs took the confused and disheveled elf back to his apartment, where Dar met the elderly Val Vorde. Kuffs asked Dar to wait there while he conferred with his chief regarding the incident at the school. While Kuffs was away, Val used a scroll of communication to converse with Dar telepathically, where he learned the young boy's brief history. In exchange, Val told Dar of his people and how Kuffs was kind enough to let Val live with him until he found suitable work. Suddenly, a distraught and panicked Kuffs burst into the apartment and began to fill traveling bags. Concerned, Val Vorde asked what was going on. Kuffs told him while at the station he overheard his chief and a higher-up from the school plotting to do away with Dar, along with any and all people he came into contact with. Skipping any further delegations, Kuffs was going to seize this absurdly serendipitous situation and begin his lifelong dream of a quest. He gave Dar his old robes and a bow from his days as a trainee, then helped a nervous and still slightly confused Val Vorde bind his scrolls. Clutching in his hand a brochure from the precinct about an inn welcoming to adventurers, Kuffs Agapucoh fled the city of Arkham with a grand smile on his face and a swelling dream of adventure in his heart. Hi, my name is Matthew Lewis, and I do the voice of Kycell along with all the additional voices in The Forgotten Minotaur King. I hope you enjoy the podcast and continue to listen into the future. If you want to support my content, please donate to my Patreon, Matthew Lewis Podcasts. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Matthew Lewis Podcasts, all one word. Follow me on Twitter at Matthew Lewis P. Or leave a positive maximum star review on your podcast app of choice. If you found this podcast, I assume you're familiar enough with the genre to know how important reviews are to the survival of a channel. And I hope you recommend this to your friends. Or if you didn't like it, you could recommend it to your enemies, and I'll teach them a lesson. Keep it sleazy, folks, and thank you.